Good morning, y'all. No, I don't have cancer. No, I'm not taking chemo. Well, it's pretty funny though. I shave my head because I'm at that age where, because of my mother's father, who was bald, and I got his genes, I'm starting to thin out. So I'm one of those people that tries to get to the problem before the problem actually happens. So I'm like, you know what? And I shave it. Anyway, if you've been paying attention to what's going on, um, things are continually getting worse. We're continually letting them to get worse. There's a school now in Washington that's requiring their student athletes to wear ankle monitors. Um, these monitors have cameras on them, supposedly microphones, so they can tell when the students get within so many feet of other students. And it's allegedly to track this thing that nobody has ever happened to know anybody that's died from or can verify they've been sick from, because they fear it. I must fear it. And these students must be tracked around the school. Of course, the school says they're not tracking the kids. It's just for school purposes. You put an ankle monitor on my kid while they're anywhere, and we're going to have a real problem. One mother said that ankle monitors are for criminals. I'd go as far to say that ankle monitors are unconstitutional even when it comes to people that have been prosecuted for committing crimes. You have a right to privacy. If you need to be in jail, then that's where you need to be. Not the jails we know today, but different video. And we're watching it all happen. What stage of genocide are we in? Tell me. I know that sounds far-fetched and maybe harsh. Genocides always happen this way. And people stand around, they watch them happen because they fear the consequences of trying to stop them. So they do nothing. They continue to get worse. And by the time they're ready to put a stop to it, it's too late. Governments always make it illegal to organize or even talk about stopping it. Although even in our founding documents, the Declaration of Independence, it's the men who created this country made it clear that no matter what, we always have the right to abolish or change our government. I'm not pro-abolishing government. I'm pro-fixing it. It can be fixed. The problem you're going to run into, though, is that the people have to first be fixed. It's a nation of people who have no clue about what freedom is. I made a video response to Rick from Think Like a Copper, Good Luck America, and the video he did. The story in the video was there was a drug dealer, allegedly, who cops seen do a drug deal. Because of that, they ran up on him, and he had a gun on him. They felt the gun under his clothing, so he didn't pull the gun out on them. Probably should have. And as two cops were holding this person, the third cop's punching them in the face. My position on it is, how do they know he was selling drugs? Just because a person exchanges money for whatever, whether it be, it could have been a sucker. He could have gave somebody, spent $10 to go get a sucker from the store for him, and then he was getting his money back. As a society, we've come to believe that, number one, what government says is right. Number two, that we can make these assumptions because it's most probable. It doesn't matter if it's most probable or not. It's not freedom oriented, and it's definitely not innocent until proven guilty. It's just the assumption. What most likely happened was they had a feeling this guy was selling drugs, and they just ran up on him. But all that's been forgotten in this country. You're no longer innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty, and then hopefully you can prove yourself innocent, which never happens. What happens is you are charged, you go to jail, they offer up a ransom, a solution to the problem to let you back out living your life while you fight whatever case it is that you have. If you can afford to pay that ransom, you can then get out, and then you have to deal with going to court every other week, bi-monthly or monthly, or bi-weekly or monthly. Thousands and thousands of dollars on an attorney, and finally you get sick of doing it and you wind up pleading out just to get rid of it like a dumbass. Don't ever plea out. If you do not do something, don't ever plea out to it. And I know most people are going to think, well, why would you plea out to something you didn't do to begin with? Because it becomes frustrating. it becomes easier to say, screw it, I want it done with this. I'll plea out to a lesser charge. And what they do is they'll give people the option of something like probation, and then people will be like, well, I don't do anything, so I can do this probation. It'll be simple. Or they offer you like court monitor probation, where you don't really have a probation officer. The court just kind of checks you every now and then to see if you've got any trouble. And what up happens is you wind up digging yourself a hole because they want to violate you anyway. But anywho, until the population understands what freedom is, or liberty, or rights, it's an unstoppable train. That's exactly what it is. It's an unstoppable train. And we all are on the train. We all see what's going to happen. The train's going so fast, if you jump off, you die. If you stay on, you die. What do you do? The problem is the people, and that's the main problem. They've become so accustomed to what they know, they're unwilling to even question their own beliefs. And it's the same topics all the time. It's always the same topics. And it gets frustrating. And because it's the same conversation repeatedly, the message gets shorter and shorter. For instance, my message now is shorter than it was a month ago. And a month ago, it was shorter than it was a year ago. I don't know if it's just I'm getting frustrated, which I think that's a lot of it. I get frustrated with having to have the same conversations with people to try to make them see the cognitive dissonance in their own belief systems. And then even when you point it out to them, they still won't see it because it's become so normal. Government. You should just do what the cop says. Well, because he has a badge and a uniform on doesn't mean I'm going to let him kidnap me. Especially if I've done nothing wrong. As a society that we've been trained to believe that the police are always right. And no matter what the situation is, the police are right. They can do whatever they want. And the truth is that our eyes tell us, because we see what they do, that the police do nothing that's good. Nothing whatsoever. If there was anything that they did that was good, the community can do it better. For instance, if there was someone selling drugs in my community, I can stop that. Everybody can just live their life free and do what they want. I don't care really, in all honesty, I don't care who sells drugs in my community. But the problem with the drug sales is that they're illegal, therefore they bring violence with them. It's just part of the game. The drug war is not a war on drugs, it's a war on people. People are going to do what people do. I mean, if heroin became legal tomorrow, would you start shooting heroin? No, you wouldn't. There's just people that live that lifestyle and there's not. But the problem with the drugs is not the drugs themselves, is what people will do for those drugs, because those drugs are so expensive because the inherent risk that comes with drug sales. So because of them being illegal is why they're so expensive, and then that's what leads to the violence and other shit like that. But you can go buy all the alcohol you want right down here at Speedway. Drink it walking out the door. But we're just watching this happen, and we're watching our kids' futures being flushed down the toilet. Our lives have been stolen from us, and so is our freedom, and we're going to watch the same happen to them, and it's going to even be worse for them. It already is. They're becoming normalized to government telling people what to do and people listening for no other reason than they fear government, than we fear government. How do you stop that? I mean, you see what we're doing. I wish more people would do it, but people fear change. They fear giving up on what they have to do something, to move to a better place, and I get it to a certain degree. But at the same time, I like to take care of stuff to begin with. Just like my head, I see a problem coming. Even if I get less where I'm going, it's still worth leaving here, because I know here eventually I'll have nothing. Because there will be a day, if I stayed here, that they will come for me. There'll be a day they come for me anyway, because I got a big mouth, and I won't keep it shut, because I truly believe that people should be free. our government doesn't rule over us, although it tries. My poor doggy's got a limp. Come here, Nova. What's wrong, baby? I don't know. But, you know, guys, I mean, it's really up to you all. And not just you all that I know, you all that I don't know also. We can continue to sit back and watch it happen, or we can do something about it. Well, how do we do something about it? Nobody has solutions, and everybody wants solutions, right? Well, here's what you do. Sell wherever you're at right now. If you're not at that place where you can actually live free, where if you didn't pay your extortion fees, you wouldn't have to worry about a state-hired thug coming and confiscating your property. If you don't live at that place, then we need to find that place, or we need to create that place. Would probably be a better way to do it. It is possible. People don't believe it's possible because they're used to what they see today being the reality. The reality isn't good enough. The reality means that we won't do shit, that we just go with the flow. And freedom comes with sacrifice. It comes at a very specific cost. It always has. It always will. It comes with the number one, sacrifice is the first cost. More often than not, blood and lives. And you have to be willing to accept those costs and also pay those costs. And if you're not, you're never going to be free. I mean, there was one generation of people in this country that were actually free. And that was even for a short time. And it was because the men who fought and founded this country understood what freedom was. The people who didn't, but were here and benefited from it, then caused it to go right back into the same place it was. Humans are inherently stupid, who need to be led by something. Most humans. I'm not that person. I want to live my own life. I want to be responsible for me, my family, and I want you to live your life and be responsible for you and your family. You needing something shouldn't affect me, but it does in our society today because we're not free. They've sold us the illusion of freedom, and we're even watching that deteriorate, and we're doing nothing about it. Why? Because we fear government. We fear talking about it. Anyway, we're selling our shit, and we are leaving, going to some place. We don't know where that place is at. It's probably going to wind up being Tennessee somewhere. Maybe not, though. It might be somewhere else. And I suggest you do too. 20 families could totally change, a 3 or 4 county area. And then if you get one person into a position where they have a big enough voice to make a change, it can be done. Until then, I mean, we're just breathing. We're not actually living. We're not living at all. We're not living our lives. We're alive, but we're not living. And that's some bullshit. But it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse after that. And after that, it's going to get worse. You see what's happening. Put a stop to it.